Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the part 2 of my Pluto video. And if you made it to the part 2, then you know from the previous part that I'm talking with a dead guy who wrote this book, and I'm reading the parts of his book and I'm discussing with him, and I'm telling you some myths and legends around Pluto and what happened in what area of the history and how Pluto affects personal lives and anything else. So please, if you haven't checked the first part first, don't let me repeat myself. I hate to do that, and I think that this video will be a shorter one than the previous one, and the previous one is very entertaining type of video. So I'm not dark, I'm not gloomy, although I'm talking about death all the time and misery and similar themes, subjects. So if you haven't, please subscribe, please check my services. I'm very not, I wouldn't say cheap astrologer, but cheap in the terms of prices. I'm very precise, and with 20 years of experience in astrology and thousands of clients all over the world. And I'm the one astrologer who is well known for taking people out of prison. And I have so many clients that are calling me from their prisons. So please, and that is all in the symbolics of my Pluto at the ascendant. So we stopped when I finished about the sign of Virgo and Pluto in Virgo. So let me check what my dear and long time passed away friend and teacher Mile said about Libra, or not Libra, having the Pluto in the 7th house. So in the 7th house, Pluto will bring brutal relationships in the public and with a wife at home or with a spouse. It could be the cause of her death and challenge of the long forgot clashes or discussions or misunderstandings or fights. Everything depends on anything else. Also, if you have Pluto, don't let me remind you again, if Pluto is not placed on the very cusp of your house in your chart, and if you don't know your chart, I can do your chart, I can do your reading, and there are many other astrologers you can resonate with, and they can do your reading, so they can easily see if the Pluto is on the cusp of your 7th house, or does this planet make any significant aspect with other planets, and it has to make the aspect in a degree. If it's 3 degrees, it doesn't work. So it's very explosive if it is in the right spot. If it's not, who cares? It doesn't exist. So if the Pluto is at the cusp of your 7th house, then either you will have a powerful spouse, and something could happen to your spouse, like a bullet, like a violent death or something like that, or you could have powerful experiences in your marriage, like traumatic experiences, depending on your natal planets, other natal planets, because there is no planet that works alone in the chart. Everything is combination, and this is why there are no two people who are alike. Now let me be clear about that. Also, Pluto was in the sign of Libra from early 70s until middle of 80s, last century. So it brought us hippie movement, it brought us return to the, so it destroyed family values and then restored family values. Also destroyed public image, because before that people in public were tidy, were nice, were stylish, and something like that. But when Pluto entered the sign of Libra, because Libra is the sign of publicity, Pluto destroyed the public appearance because people were appearing in public in rags, smelly, they were very stinky, they didn't go and bathe for weeks if not months, bearded, awful hairs, no makeup, dirty, and many similar situations. Also Pluto restored the public image, and while the people were dirty, then also Libra is not just the sign of marriage or a business relation. Libra is the sign of partnerships. Aries is the sign of one, me, and Libra is the sign of us. How we do and when we do and what we do together. So Pluto is destroying that, and Pluto is restoring that or transforming that. So in that phase when Pluto was destroying the marriages, Pluto then destroyed laws too, because Libra is the sign of laws or the lawyers. It might say not just the laws but lawyers, because Saturn in Libra represents the laws or the social boundaries, and Pluto destroyed all of that. People rebelled against the laws, social laws, official laws, and then Pluto again restored that. Also, this was the moment when many marriages fell apart, and there were all sorts of situations with marriages, polygamy, living not officially married, without papers. That was all became very popular in those moments. When Pluto entered the sign of Scorpio, you can guess what? Oh no, around 1982, 3 or 4, I'm not sure about the years, exact years, Pluto was together with Saturn, and they had conjunction by the end of the sign of Libra at the fixed star Spica. If you have some of those aspects, then you surely must have been the victim of a black magic, or someone cast the black magic on you, or you flirted with a magic, or you had to contact with people who are amazed with Satanism, who are in Satanism, who are in some cults. You had to go through some demonic moments in your life for sure, in the case that this falls on some significant point or planet in your personal chart. When Pluto entered the sign of Scorpio, you can guess what? Death and sex and taxes and rebirths and court cases and occultism. So it was a boom of AIDS, HIV virus in the world, and all of the sudden people were restrained from having a casual sex, of careless sex, and the fear was all around. I remember I was in the elementary school and people came to us to give us some lectures about the AIDS, how we can get it, how we can protect from it. I was, I don't know, 11 or 12 years old. And it was embedded in our minds that you can get it throughout dirty needles, if you're doing drugs through needles. And I remembered one of my friends is dead now due to heroin. And she got her AIDS through the dirty needle. And I was so surprised when I heard that she got the AIDS, because from our early age we were bombed about the AIDS and what AIDS can do to us. Does AIDS really exist, or is it a myth? Are there viruses or are they not? There is completely another discussion. All I know that she got some disease through the dirty needle. Heroin was in the subject here, and she's dead for some long time now, and she was 1 or 2 months younger than me. What can I say? What can I say? So you know that Pluto in the sign of Scorpio can get you that, and he will make restraints, and he will kill your sexual life, and then he will transform your sexual life, or you will go through horrible fears throughout your sexual life. You could be traumatized throughout your sexual life. Also, you could be traumatized through your pension, retirement fund, or your taxes, or some court cases and some fees you have to pay, some penalties. Anything is possible. Also, this is the revival of occultism, of demonic forces. The gates are opened and demons, come on, rush in. We have the party here. I can remember that when we were in the high school, many of my female friends were playing with calling out the demons. You know, the thing called not Luigi, Ouija board, some board, and you take the cup and you take the cup around the table. So revival of the mesmerism, of the occultism, and those things. The part 1 of the Pluto video is processing. It says 59 minutes more. So what my dear and past friend and teacher, he was not my direct friend, we never met, but I treat him as my very, very close friend, Miles, said, Pluto in the 8th house, deep subconsciousness, the person feels collective spirit, but goes brutally toward it. So, for instance, people of Nike, now I'm going to buy the Nike factory and the Nike brand, and I'm going to have everything for myself. That is this type of thinking. Okay, psychic disturbance, especially in the moments before the death. So this could be a psychopath, this could be more likely, this could be a schizophrenia type of disturbance, but just before the death. And a person can be the cause of many mass or personal deaths. Who had Pluto in their 8th house? Stalin, Franco, Hitler, Bismarck, Johnson, Chiang Kai-shek, Evita Peron also. So you can see all the big names with this aspect. Okay, what is Pluto doing in the 9th house or in the sign of Sagittarius? Ladies and gentlemen, let me think about it. Oh, it destroys and then transforms and restores the world of organized religions, spirituality in the sense of not losing yourself in the sea of subconsciousness, but in organized religion. This is the moment for heretics. I am heretic. Here I am. Because in my mind, if you are the member of the organized religion and you believe everything word by word as your priest or your guru tells you to, then I don't think you're quite mentally stable. Mind my words, I don't want to insult you, but you have to have some passage where you believe some things in a different way, in your personal way. And this is the moment when churches, when religious movements, official religion had their transformations. They lost the bigger part of their believers. There were new churches, the moments for the new sects, the new movements, and people became closer to the idea that they don't need someone in the middle between them and God, or the universal force or something like that. And in those moments there were many people who were believers but not believers in their native organized religion form. Okay, I am the Christian, I respect my Christianity background, I respect my original Slavic religious background, but I'm not totally into them. I have the relationship with the God, and as a great man, Hans Christian King, long time ago said, and he is on the other side of this realm right now, and I'm greeting him very much because I loved him and I loved his teachings. He had one sentence he repeated to all other people: God does not love anyone so much as God loves me. So this is your mantra. God doesn't love anyone as much as God loves you. So you have to know that, you have to embed that in your mind. Of course, you shouldn't become narcissistic idiot regarding that, but you should know that you are that one little spark of the God. And God does not make mistakes. The nature, if you say I don't believe in God, and no one says I don't believe in God in the crashing airplane, they are not atheists in the crashing airplane, trust me. You have to believe in something, you have to hook yourself to something, to some belief, to something in your mind. Then you know that you're part of that universal energy. The spark of that universal power is in you. Call it a God, call it a Allah, call it Shiva, Shakti, Parvati, Durga, whatever you want. Whatever you want. You are the part of that energy, the spark of that energy that is here inside of you, here, that is burning here. God does not make mistakes. In the beginning, when Pluto entered the sign of Sagittarius, people lost their faith. And there was this grunge movement, then everything was gray, we dressed poorly, we didn't believe anything. It was a great revival of the illegal drugs again. Everyone were depressed, immunological diseases appeared. It was all related to the losing your religion. There was a famous song from R.E.M. band, Losing My Religion, and it was a worldwide hit. Then my generation knows it by heart. Was it R.E.M. or Metallica? Now I'm going to make a big mistake, huge mistake. But Metallica and R.E.M. were grand bands in those moments. Losing My Religion, and one more was, I'm not sure. It doesn't matter. Also, Pluto. Sagittarius is the sign of traveling to some frontiers, traveling all over the world, flying all over the world. So Sagittarius destroyed that, and Sagittarius restored that. And mind me, we had 9/11. Okay, some people could say it was really the event. Some other people could say this is the fake event. But whenever you have contact between Saturn and Pluto, this is fascism at its best. So the moment when 9/11 happened, when people say that planes crashed into World Center in New York, from that moment we had new rules and new regulations in the airports. A few months ago in Paris, I watched a woman asking the other woman to take her shoes off, and then she watched her shoes like this and this, and I thought, oh man, I'm in sneakers, don't let me untie my sneakers and then I have to tie them. I already gave you my hoodie, what can you say? You want to look at my underpants? I don't know. But I was very quiet. No, you are not to make any fuss at the airport, because you won't fly anywhere. And they could even take you to that room, and then in that room they could check your column to see if you are carrying some drugs behind. So we had new rules and regulations when it comes to traveling due to terrorist attacks. Were those terrorist attacks true or not? I'm not sure, but we surely had terrorist attacks afterwards in France, for instance. So new rules, new regulation when it comes to traveling and when it comes to organized religion. Many affairs in churches happened, you know, Catholic Church, raping of the children and money laundering and things like that. So other churches were not accepted from that, I might tell you, because we in Orthodox Church had some similar events going on. So I don't want to sound like I hate Catholic Church, because I don't. This is our sister church, and frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn, you know. But in those moments also, because, you know, Catholics were widely known historically that they have this inner sense of guilt that Catholic Church put inside of them, planted inside of them from their early age, and all of a sudden Catholics refuse to feel guilty. Why should I be guilty? Yeah, because we put Jesus Christ on the crucifix. I didn't crucify Jesus Christ. I didn't do that. I didn't kill anyone. I didn't lie. Well, I did lie. I lied a lot when I was a young child, because I have Neptune in my third house, but not after that, from time to time. But I think that this was a moment when Pluto crossed my Neptune, because it will make aspects that I decided that I will never ever lie. And that happened with the help of my teacher, spiritual teacher at that time and place. And recently I noticed I'm starting to lie again, and I'm very furious about that, but that is life. Because when I write more, I don't lie then, because I could write my lies as a fantasy matter, so you can use that if you're lying in a usual life. So everything in Sagittarius was about inner beliefs, spirituality, or organized religions and travelings, and Pluto destroyed that. So what does my late friend Mile says about Sagittarius, about the 9th house in Pluto? He said, deeper knowledge about the past, irrational systems for the future, ideological turmoil to destroy cultural monuments and fanatism. Yes, cultural monuments were destroyed, I think in Iraqi, when Americans enter Iraqi, or in Afghanistan, something like that. I know that some temples that were enormously precious were destroyed in Afghanistan. Who did it? I'm not sure Afghanistan people did it. Don't let me ban my video for this, because we live in the free world, democratic world of the free speech. Think about that. Because in those moments, Pluto entered the sign of Capricorn, and before Pluto entered the sign of Capricorn, we have migration from the Middle East toward the Europe. So we had the rivers and rivers of migrants illegally crossing the borders and going up into the Europe. These were Syrian people, African people, North African people, also Afghani people, and all sorts of people coming from the Middle East, and they were talking that they are Muslims, but they never took the route to go to the strict Muslim countries like United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and such countries. No, they headed straight into the Europe, where women do not wear hijabs, they wear short skirts, and where the laws are not according to the Shariat law. So they were in the countries that had Shariat law, but they were running away from those countries, carrying inside of that Shariat law, straight into the Western countries where people are evil and spoiled, and there are no laws, there are not love, not faith, anything like that. So that is this is a Plutonic moment, and I won't tell you how much trouble my country, as above Greece and Northern Macedonia, had due to those movements of the migrants, because they were all over this town. I passed through them, I passed by them, they attacked the girls, they took them their phones. There were one moment when I was with my daughter alone at the tram station waiting for the tram, and two of us were alone, and there was a group of 10 migrants there, and I took the knife out, opened my balisang knife, and I pulled my hand into my sleeve so my knife cannot be seen, and I was ready to protect myself and my daughter from them if they tried to attack us, because they did. And there were killings happening in this country and in this very town between groups of migrants, and the law of the state of Serbia wasn't their law. So they didn't go to the prison, they didn't go there. They had some camps, and they were moving ahead throughout Serbia, up there throughout Hungary, to go to the Germany, to go to the Sweden, things like that. And I remember that Hungary put the wire walls on their frontiers, and migrants came with the scissors and cut the holes and go there. And we had some smaller types of wars between Hungary and Serbia, because of borderline police and army, those are called rangers, were firing shots at migrants. And in the northern part of Serbia, one guy that is a doctor, he reported that each night he worked at the emergency service. Each night he got wounded or dead migrants with bullets and knife wounds on them. So things were happening. Don't let me start to tell you that we have footages of some migrants stealing a dog from the front yard and raping the dog. So don't let me begin. It was awful. It is still here. Then we are asking, between those migrants, they are just 10% of the women and children and old people. 90% of them are men who are ready for fighting. And as you might recall, then we have the Arab Spring, many political turmoils in North Africa and Middle East, and we had the ISIS army, and all of a sudden this ISIS army disappeared, and we had the river of migrants coming into the Europe, and we were wondering, are those guys entering like refugees into our countries, refugees who are 20 or 30 years old, who know how to move? You can see from the footages that they know how to move, how to walk. They know, they are trained in combative things. Are they entering the Europe to enslave Europe in one moment, because we were all afraid that at one moment they will pull some guns from somewhere and rat-a-tat-tat-tat kill us all. Kill us all. And we didn't stop them. We didn't stop. What are European frontiers when you can cross right from them, over them? I could be in the group of refugees, migrants, and I could be walking, and my ranger would take me from my neck here and pull me down and give me slaps and send me home. And if I wouldn't go home, then he would put me to jail. But if I am a migrant, he will just let me pass. How come? How come? I'm talking this because I know two kids, a girl and a boy, they were a teenage pair in some other town, tried to escape their parents and go to Germany and live together in Germany, and police caught them at the frontier with Hungary because they mingled with migrants and tried to cross there. So migrants crossed, and two of them were returned back to their parents. That is very interesting. So Pluto is entering the sign of Capricorn. Now we are talking about the bad things. Now we are talking about corporate crimes. And now we are talking about, he says 40 minutes left for the part 1. Now we are talking about demolition of big corporation and transformation and restoring of the big corporations. Also, internet is in its heights. Economy is going up and down, and I think when Pluto entered the sign of Capricorn, we had 2008, but I'm not so sure. In any case, we now realized that the real politics is not in the diplomatic circles, nor in politicians, nor in country governments. We now clearly realize that the real power lies in some powerful people behind. People who are having some large corporations. If you haven't heard about the BlackRock, I think that this is a perfect moment to go to your Google or your ChatGPT and check what BlackRock is, my darling, because this is the Pluto at its best in the sign of Capricorn, the sign of business, reputation, recognition, and success. So, if I have everything, if I have numerous corporation in me, and you are the president of your country, it's not the question that I can buy your country. I can buy the continent. I can buy geological plates. I could buy the whole planet. I can invent wars. I can close down the wars. I can do anything. This is also the revival of, this is also the moment when China economy is starting to show up all over the world. And this is the moment when America is starting to shake down. And also, I might tell you one thing. As the astrologer, I saw the big war coming. And what did I do? I started preparing for the war, in the sense that I went and gained some skills in martial arts, in shooting guns, in archery, in swordmanship, in all sorts of fights. I did everything I could except driving the tank. Or shooting the canyon, or shooting those big rockets. But I did everything as a plain soldier because I thought the Third World War is coming for sure. Men will go outside to fight, and someone will have to stay here and to defend the homes, the women, the children. So I could be the one among many other women in my town who will defend other women and other children and animals and old people and everything we have, our belongings, our home, and I prepared for that war. And that war came. And I thought 2019 will be the moment when the war will begin, because the demonic aspect happened in the sign of Capricorn. There were Saturn, Pluto and the south node of the moon in conjunction in 2019. And if you think that this whole thing going on in 2020 happened then, no, it happened in 2019. It was fully prepared and ready to be released. And then we had a 2020 and a total lockdown, not as the moment of beginning, but as the prepared moment, as the staged moment for the global lockdown. And the whole world was encaptured, the whole world. My parents weren't allowed to get out of the house because they were older than 65 years old, so my daughter and me would carry the shopping cart all over the town and running around in the lines and switching. Two of us switched in lines for the bank, for the grocery shopping, for the laundry powder, anything like that. It was to die for. We had to fight for the bag of polenta, you know, there, and it was very awful. And in some moments it was total martial law, so for days none of us could exit house. And don't let me tell you that public transportation system wasn't working. It was chaos all over, so I had to go throughout the whole town, walking to there and getting from the bank from the other side of the town, walking again. It wasn't hard for me to walk through the empty town. It was hard for me when I had the full shopping cart and the big shopping bag on one shoulder and together with my daughter. So we split the weight and it was very hard for us. And at what moment the wheel from her shopping cart fell off, and then we have 100 meters of pure nightmare in the broad daylight. But then after 15 minutes of struggling and helping each other, emergency ambulance stopped, and two guys told us, do you need some help? And we said yes, but we are going in that direction. And they say, it doesn't matter, we will help you. So they put the two of us and our bags and our carts in the ambulance vehicle and drove us all the way to the home. And we were, so people were helping people. We have to admit that. But it was the moment of, you know what I told you, Saturn and Pluto together, fascism. With south node of the moon together, curse, black magic, fascism, death. I'm still trying to remember the aspect in Vedic astrology. It's not rare aspect, but not so many people know about this aspect, and I have it in my chart, and I can, my brain just stopped right now because this is the moment for that. Aspect is on the letter B, but I cannot recall it right now. It doesn't matter. So Pluto in Capricorn, everything went down, and it went down right into the basement. Fascism at its best. What Mile has to say about this? Oh no, I thought this will be a shorter video. In the 10th house, Pluto, it doesn't care for its dignity. It doesn't understands the relationship between me and the world, and this is why it is disappointment. This is prophetic lying speech. Prophetic lying speech. You're not allowed to get out of your homes. Why? Because of that and that. Prophetic lying speech. Astrologer, oh yes. Prejudice, masses, tragedies in profession, total fall. Robespierre, Troinsky, they had this aspect. Now, a few days ago, Pluto entered the Aquarius. It won't be the same like it was when America got its constitution and when we had a changes in the system from feudalism to capitalism in France, when they chopped the head from their emperor. This is the French Revolution, and after the French Revolution happened, then we had industrial breakthrough. It went in blood. The aspects won't be quite the same. But man, my daughter is in France right now. There are piles, walls of garbage all over. This is Pluto, garbage. Pluto is the garbage. And what happened? There were rivers of garbage in the streets, and there were rivers of the rats on the streets. She was chasing the mouse in their cantina where they eat their food. I told her, do not enter any restaurant right now, just buy the packed foods and prepare it for yourself. Guard your foods because of the rats, of the mice. And what happened? People were so furious regarding their government and pension plans. But this is not just about the pension plans, because French people were furious about this fake global economic crisis, these fake inflationary movements right now in the history. No one has enough money to survive, and people are mad regarding their economic status more than their retirement plans. And as you know, in the history, who will be the first one to rebel? French people. If there were not French people 2 years ago, we will all have those special passports with those dates when we got those things. French people rebelled. French people put that special passport aside. And this is why my daughter had the right and me to go to the France, even though we were never, you know, this is a free planet, free country, freedom of speech, and I'm afraid I will be banned because of that freedom. So, Pluto in Aquarius, it won't look the same as it did when French Revolution happened, because French Revolution involved Uranus too. It will be different, bit different. It will look good around 2026, going to 7. But we will have fascism again in 2028. It will be one hard aspect for me personally. I don't know if I will survive it. And then again, we will have another extreme fascism happening in 2036. Again, my personal planets will be attacked, and I'm not sure will I be alive after that. So you have to deal with those things if you are an astrologer and you're doing your chart. You never tell about the death in other people's charts, even if you see it clearly. You do not do that. That is something that is called the astrological morals. Morals. You are acting like hope is always present, and hang on to the hope, and let us do our best to keep you healthy and happy, as long as you are alive. Never tell people when they are going to die if you're an astrologer, especially because you will make a mistake 100%, I'm guaranteeing you that. So don't put your reputation at stake, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, because I have a story from a famous Vedic astrologer in India. He went to then famous Vedic astrologer in India, and the guy gave him the date when he will die, and he wrote that date on the piece of paper, gave that piece of paper to his wife and told her, put this on the safe place and remind me on that day. And she reminded him. They took the piece of paper, it was said, I'm going to die on this date, and he didn't die. He was laughing. Nothing happened on that day. So, and he lived years after that, and he's still alive. So do not do that, please, if you are an astrologer. So what does Mile says about Pluto in the 11th house? Friends turns into enemies. A dangerous member of the organization. Sudden events with friendly connections. Also, because the sign of Aquarius, or the 11th house, is the social circles. You know, Leo on the other side is the ruler, the king. And Aquarius is the people. That is why French Revolution happened and ended in blood. Aquarius is the sign of people. Yes, this is the advancement, but not necessarily technological advancement. How many people you know that are geniuses? But you know so many common people, and you know so many women that are wearing black yoga pants and their cheap t-shirt with, in my country, Balenciaga is very popular and it's sold on farmers markets, and in other countries there you can see Beyonce on them. And they're all dressed the same, and all the guys are dressed the same. We are all the same, we the people. So there are changes in we the people style. Again, will something else after capitalism and communism come on our path? I'm not sure. As wise guys said many years ago, you know, when it comes to socialism, Sweden did much more for socialism than Russia, than Soviet Union, with their communistic songs and propaganda and everything else. So Sweden, which is a capitalistic country, had a way better social program for their people than Russia. So you can get the point. We will have some great changes. Also, we will have some technological breakthroughs. Yes, AI, artificial intelligence, yes, ChatGPT. I had my moments 2 days ago with ChatGPT, when ChatGPT told me he doesn't believe in astrology. And then I told him, I didn't ask you for your opinion, I asked you for the effects of Pluto in Aquarius. And then ChatGPT apologized to me. So just don't let people scare you with ChatGPT. Yes, I could be AI image right now. I could be. And maybe they will get that precise moments in 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. It doesn't matter. But nothing can change, nothing can copy our emotions, because our emotions are the product of our hormones. And our hormones are moving according to our planetary placements or cosmic placements, and we are part of this game. Not one machine could do that. Yes, they can. I asked Isaac Newton's work on astrology. So ChatGPT quoted me Isaac Newton work on astrology and blah blah blah. But they cannot be a human being. They are just machine. They're not human. There is not human emotion. There is not human touch. Yes, there could be some mental disturbances caused by special personalized chat AI porno programs. So you put those things on you and you have porn scenes going on, accustomed to your feelings, to your heart rates, to your hormones, to your emanations of energy. And that will keep you away from other people, and I can guarantee you that you will never ever have sex with another human living being after that. But if that is what you want, then this technological era will find a way to get you from the scene, because you will die from hunger while watching your porn all the time, and you will never leave your descendants after you. Don't worry about that. And that is it. Pluto in the sign of Pisces. Diseases. Big, great diseases. Mass murders. Transformation of unconsciousness. I am the one with the universe, and right now, from this moment, just imagine that I turned into the fire and I disappeared. And then I disappeared for good, or I'm living in 10 universes, and I'm talking with myself and all other beings in all those universes at the same time, and at the same time, I'm not mentally disturbed. I can travel through times, or I can be extremely mentally disturbed, so you will see people turned into wild animals in rage, going through streets and killing each other. This is a moment for plague. I told you, big diseases, ugly diseases, diseases. This is all Pluto in the sign of Pisces. Also, this could be a moment when a prophet could appear again. Or some extremely pure people, some extremely good people, but will they survive? Or some extremely dualistic people. I told you everything be about dualism, good and bad. Some will be extremely good and extremely bad at the same time. Some teachings will be extremely good and extremely bad. I might say that while the Pluto is in the sign of Pisces, we might eventually finally go outside this planet somewhere, not just fake. We went there. Maybe we will. No, we wouldn't say that publicly, that we have some bases on the Mars or on the Moon. No, that will be a secret. But some dirty secrets will be revealed. It will be awful. It will be awful times. It will be awful times if Pluto is making some significant aspects on your planet's endpoints from the sign of Pisces. Yes, then it will affect you. If you don't have that, mind this video, forget about this video. You should not care. You should not care, because it won't affect you at all. And I talked about that extensively in my previous video, part 1, Pluto part 1. Mila, about the 12th house, says, guilt complex, inner intimate enemies, imagination that causes fatal mistakes. Mila said it. Okay, Pluto in aspects. Sun and Pluto, love for the dangerous things and adventures. The person is brave, pioneer of the new ideas. The person has the power of organization and responsibility, too much effort and too much fighting or struggle, often against himself or herself. If this aspect is afflicted, then this is the loss of other people, bad influence on masses, atomistics, physics, empty goals, self-destructions. Thank you, Mila, my friend. I have afflicted Pluto in my sun. Thank you, thank you. With the moon, sentimental imagination and the extreme adventures with women, weird dreams and extreme deeds, deep exploration in psychology, hallucinations, cybernetics, unknown worlds. If afflicted, Moon and Pluto together or in aspects, mind me, in aspects to the degree, not outside the degree. If afflicted, it goes against dangerous things. It's not, doesn't have frontiers, doesn't have boundaries, dark affairs, and misfortunate events, evil suggestions, pharmacy, decorations. It can be the victim of jealousy and at the same time not faithful in love. Dangerous excitements. Pluto with aspects. No, Pluto, not Pluto in aspects, Pluto with Mercury. Man antenna. Refined and shrewd. Fast hands and fast thoughts. He can see through any situation, and he could cross people with their words, with his or her words. Well versed, can bluff greatly, magician, extreme diplomat, but goes too far, and could easily be imprisoned. Very good speaker. If this Mercury and Pluto is in affliction, then this is a con artist, the thief. Now he uses many words for a con artist, but a person can easily go to jail, and it can have a nervous breakdown that will lead this person to the mental institution. Pluto and Venus, artistic erotica, adventures again. With his or her soul, this person can penetrate with another human, to another human being. Romeo and Juliet, Buddha, the sense for beauty and form, music and metaphysical arts, for creation, Greta Garbo, when afflicted, Marilyn Monroe, great fear from sex, from love. Afflicted, brutal passion, unpleasant scenes, wounded emotions, many relationships. I'm trying to find some no names, but beside Marilyn Monroe, you don't know. Mars and Pluto, brutal. This is the bullet. I know that. Fanatic, inquisition, too much. Sexual passion or fire, too proud, physical records in sports, chemistry, sudden deaths, dynamics, the leader. If afflicted, wounds, not social, sadist, destructive energy. People who will organize the concentration camp, my dear people. When Pluto and Jupiter are together, uses force to get their freedom, exaltation and ecstasy, can hurt other people with a prayer, also egoistic, and through fights and destroying other people, this person will get rich. When Saturn is together with Pluto, I told you, black magic, family curses, karmic curses, the power of silence, stoicism, thorough methodical work, deep knower of things, very mysterious but not in a seductive way or the popular way. Gravedigger, astronaut, betrayer, Mephisto type, dangerous instincts and cold feelings, craziness of self-search, self-seek, sadism, asceticism, vampire. Medium. If this person is bent to do hypnotic seances or regressions or things like that, so hypnosis is forbidden for this type of person because it can open the gates of hell. Uranus and Pluto together, a great power of the body and the will upon others, magic, yoga, jiu-jitsu, clairvoyant, hypnotists, secret medicine, very fast, very eccentric, gambling with life, open battles, very determined to get freedom, to gain freedom, quick intuition to see through people through their manipulations, fanatic, pervert if affected, eccentric distractions, never in peace, very dangerous life crisis, nervous breakdowns, tragic deaths, dangerous experiments. So Uranus and Pluto, you know that. And Neptune and Pluto together, and we are going to finish this. Part 1 has 11 minutes to process. Specific mystic talents. Again, ability to see through things. Extremely skilled spy. Travels incognito. Leads a double life. Ruthless toward other people. And no, I'm lying. Ruthless toward themselves. Destroys itself. Distills itself, magic, mystical cults, hallucination, con artists, narcosis, criminal, poisoning, alcoholism, drug dealer, cheater, black magic, crazy ideas, kleptomany, you know, those people who are stealing things, mental diseases. It can be very successful as an agent, psychiatrist, in archaeology, in oceanography, as a occult writer, as the writer of sensational literature, medium, the leading role in cults or sects. Dirty fights until the phase of mania in them. It will all depend on the houses, on the signs, and everything else. So Pluto travels very slow, and Pluto, if you have a Pluto at some sensitive points in your personal chart, then it will affect you. If you do not have it, then it won't affect you. If it's 2 degrees away from the exact aspect with some other planet or point, it does not count. I'm sorry, it does not count. Maybe you want to be a mystic or and spy, hallucinator, or this or that, and in so many cases when people are asking me, is this a black magic or is this a curse, I tell them no, and this happens in 98% in my clients. So it's not. If you have some points or planets related to Pluto, then yes, it will affect you hard. In all other cases, no, I'm talking 2 hours and 6 minutes about Pluto in signs and houses, and Mile is helping me out for this adventure. Me and the dead man are teaching you Pluto. Thank you all, and I love you all, and if you want my services, you can check them. I have cheap prices till the end of this year. We are going to global economic crisis, so I'm very merciful toward the people, and I will see you in the next video. Please, damn, please subscribe to my channel. Bye.